Alright, so episode 2 of Prehistoric Planet is officially out, titled The Badlands. Again, I will go over like things that might be considered spoilery, so if you want to like be surprised going into this, go ahead and click away now. Let's get right into it. Episode 2 was, again, a really good one. I think that, again, a lot that was from the first season was kind of elevated with this season. Specifically, once again, I want to focus on the story elements. I do think that they are given a lot more time to really kind of breathe and, you know, give us more of a chance to focus on specific animals rather than kind of jumping all over the place. And don't get me wrong, they allowed us to do that in season 1. We had a lot of moments where we could just kind of focus on a situation or a animal or two for a decent amount of time, but it seems like they're really kind of going all in with this season. Take, for example, the ichthyosaurs. We see them once at the beginning, all of the mothers going to lay their eggs at that one site. And then we see them again at the very end, but this time it's the babies that, you know, come from the eggs. So it kind of like, it creates a bookend, of course, but it also adds that little bit of story element that also plays into the fact that this is a naturalistic documentary and portrays things that might be likely. Because I want to stick with the ichthyosaurs, and really one of the overall themes that I see in this episode, and that of course is quite obviously giant dinosaurs and parenthood. Like, what kind of parents would dinosaurs be? You know, some were caring parents, some would kind of go the way of the sea turtle, in which they would lay a ton of eggs and then leave and hope that most of them make it, which of course is a valid way of going about things. It does often ensure the survival of the species. But then also with the Corythoraptors, we see the side of them committing themselves to protecting these eggs the full term until they finally hatch, even if it's to the detriment of them. Like, they have to sit in the heat for long hours in the day, only being able to go and leave and search for food when it's finally nighttime. And even at that, their eggs are still vulnerable to being taken by the dromaeosaur, who herself has her own chicks to take care of. But I do think that was one of the best elements of this episode, and was definitely one of their main focal points. The science bit at the end even goes into depth with it, which again, I love that they do that kind of little after show or after episode show, kind of detailing why they came to a lot of their conclusions and giving you the basic facts of what we know about these animals, at least with a certain topic. I really like the desert sequences as well, with like the sauropods kind of walking through the kind of canyon-like area. I really like the Tarchia segments, like the two younger ones kind of looking for food first of all, and then coming across the small oasis with the Prenocephalae, which, by the way, Prenocephalae is the first pachycephalosaur to show up in this show, which is really cool. We don't see a lot of pachycephalosaurs in media in general, so it's really cool to see them, and they're a pretty good choice for that. I really like their design and their portrayal. But what I really liked about the Tarchia segment is showing that herbivores are aggressive. They are not really, like, more times than not, herbivores are not these peaceful, you know, like plant eaters that'll just let you walk on by without any issues. They themselves get into scuffles and little predicaments that could cause injury. Like these two younger Tarchia in confrontation with the older, bigger Tarchia, while the Prenocephalae watch. And also the small confrontation between the Tarchia and the Prenocephalae was really fun. So overall, there was a lot of really good elements from the show. There, of course, Velociraptor makes its grand return along with Tarbosaurus, and they kind of have like a dual hunt, essentially. Like, we mainly focus on the Velociraptors as they pursue a Prenocephalae that kind of like was separated from the rest of its group during a huge fit of commotion when the Tarbosaurs attacked the sauropods. And of course, they feature pack hunting, coordinated pack hunting at that, in this episode, and that has always been a matter of debate. There's really no evidence that Velociraptor or really any dromaeosaur partook in pack hunting, especially coordinated pack hunting like it's portrayed here. I mean, of course, that falls under the speculation banner. We don't have evidence for it, and we don't necessarily have evidence against it, but yeah, that could potentially be an inaccuracy. Oh, and Rajasaurus actually made its appearance in this. correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time Rajasaurus has ever appeared on screen. It's incredibly similar to Majungasaurus, with the single horn on its head, and of course the overall build. They're both Abelisaurids, but it's still really cool to see Rajasaurus specifically, and to see it have kind of a little bit of a prominent part to play in this, especially kind of building into the overall narrative of the young Icysaurs trying to get through the volcanic Badlands. But once again, this was a very good episode. It built off very nicely from the first episode, and continues the trend of really good, decent paleo accuracy, with a really good, faithful portrayal of these animals, and more of an emphasis on portraying them as animals. And as I mentioned last time, they've kind of scaled back on just trying to throw as many in there as possible and jumping all over the place, in favor of just focusing on a few animals for a little bit more of an extended group of time, because we didn't really go too many places in this one. There was only mainly those guys that I mentioned earlier that we really focused on for a decent amount of time before jumping to the next one, and even one of them was a two-parter with the Icysaurs nests. But yeah, the next episode is swamps, and I'm actually looking forward to that one. I'm interested to see what kind of animals we'll be seeing in that type of episode. We know that we'll be seeing Pachycephalosaurus. I'm interested to see if they're going to go with the Dracorex grew into Stygimoloch, grew into Pachycephalosaurus idea. It'd be interesting if they did and kind of showed it on screen. It kind of looks like it. The Pachycephalosaurus that they're showing in the images looks a little bit more like a Stygimoloch, but I could be mistaken. But I'm interested to see what they're doing, so I'll definitely be uploading that video right after I get to watch it tomorrow. But yeah, once again, another good episode. But thank you all so much for watching, and have an awesome day.